Hello class, this is Cleo Washington, your DFTG 1392 instructor, and today we're going to look at adding views into the model, okay? So let's go ahead and just open up the model, and we can go ahead and just go to the 3D view first to kind of see where we are. And this is typically where you should be. I still have some things to add on the west wing of this model, but right now we're going to focus on the east wing, okay? So what we want to do is we want to go to our project browser and we want to click on the south elevation. All right. Now, what we have here are the level markers, okay? And these markers, they basically determine the floor height of each level in the building. So instead of it being called out as a floor plan, Rivet by default does call it out as a level. However, if you like the word floor plan and you do like to utilize that, you can double click here, right click, I'm sorry, and you can rename it to say, floor plan, first floor plan. Right? And you hit enter. So now, I think I spelled it wrong. Yes, I did. Going too fast. Let's see, rename. So now when you go back to the south elevation, okay, you'll still have it named here as level 2, but you can click here and rename it as well. If you wanted to rename this, you could click here and say first floor plan. But in most cases, you will leave it as is, right? And Rivet will ask you if you like to rename the corresponding views. So if you make that change, you want to click yes, okay? Even though we already updated it here. If you would have updated here at the level in the drawing first, it would have updated it in the project browser as well, okay? But we are going to undo that because typically, in most cases, especially when you go on your professional experience, they will actually leave these as Rivet has them called out by default, okay? Level 1, level 2. There are some instances when you will be able to change them, and we're going to look at that once we add some more levels. But first things first, let's go ahead and select this level and grab this marker right here and drag it eastward, okay? Now, you notice that the two levels that are created, they are moving with each other. And here's why. When you select a level, you see this little lock button right here? All the levels that are in the drawing at this time are locked together. If you unlock it, then you can take a level by itself and move it out. Or you have to unlock both of them. I'm sorry. Unlock both of them. And then you can manipulate the levels. Okay? It just depends on how you want to do it. Unlock. There it is. Okay? But typically we will leave them locked. We want them to line up and remain uniform. So, but that's how you do that if you have an instance. And we will have an instance once we start adding levels to the west side of the building where we're going to have to unlock some and turn some on and turn some off. And as regards turning them on and off, if you select a level, you see this check mark right here? If you click it, that will turn the level annotation off, okay? You can select it and turn the check mark back on. That turns it on. So you will find yourself in an instant where you actually have to do that. Like, for example, this level 2. This level 2 is just for the east wing of the building, not the west wing. So you wouldn't have this level 2 turned on this side, because on this side, it will have its own set of levels or its own floors distanced at different spaces, okay? Or different dimensions, so to speak. So turn it off on this side. And let's go ahead and create some more levels, okay? So you can do this two ways. We'll do it the simple way first. You're going to click the level icon, and then you can come over here and click the pick lines icon, and then you can tell it that you want to offset each level. But let's back up a little bit. Let's change this to 12 feet, okay? Level 2 is at 10 feet. We're going to change it to 12 feet. So you would double click in here and change the 10 to 12 and hit enter. Now, as you see, the level marker actually moved up. You didn't just change the number. It actually had a physical attribute that transpired, okay? So it moved up 2 feet, and you can go and, drop a dimension on it, and you'll see it'll measure at 12 feet, okay? And you can hit DI, that's the short command for dimension, if you want to quickly dimension things. Now, let's go ahead and pick the level icon, and pick the pick lines icon, and down here at the bottom on the modify menu, let's go ahead and give it an offset of 12. So type in 12 here, hit enter, and now let's go ahead and pick level 2. All right, as you can see, it offset, or it created another level at 24 feet. So that's level 3, level 4, and see it offset the level downward. So you want to go ahead and delete that, and you do that by just undoing it, okay? Just undo it. And let's go ahead and click the level button again. Click the pick lines icon, which is right here, okay? This is the line icon, this is the pick line icon. It's on the modify place level menu right here. And go ahead and change the offset to 12 and hit enter. And let's go ahead and create some additional levels. But this time we need to make sure that it's offsetting northward, okay? So when you hold the cursor above level 3, when you see the green line appear northward, that's where the new level will appear. So you click there, level 4, level 5, level 6, and level 7. Oh, sorry, level 7 went down. Let's try it again. Change to 12. And there is your level 7, okay? Now, as stated, these levels will only be associated with the east wing of this building, okay? So what we want to do is we want to go ahead and modify level 7. First of all, we want to rename it, okay? We want to double click here and call it T.O.roof, or T.O. parapet, not roof. And make sure they're all caps because they just read better, right? So T.O. parapet. Rename the corresponding views, yes. So that's going to say T.O. parapet. And now that I'm looking at it, let's go ahead and change this 72. Let's lower it by 10 feet. So change that 72 to 62. So type in 62, click in. Now as you can see, the level itself actually dropped down. But now we have a problem because we have 2 levels that are overlapping each other. And here's how you fix that. You select the level that you want to manipulate, and you see this break icon right here? You would click that, and you see how it actually created some grips on that level? You would take this grip and move it up some, right? So it's clear and free of the level that it was overlapping. And then you can take this portion and move it out some. And we always like to have the word part of the annotation on the level to be underlined with the level marker, so you can take this part and drag it out as well, okay? So there you go, top of parapet. And we are also going to name level 6 top of roof. So double click here, T.O.R.O.F, top of roof, and rename the corresponding views, okay? So that's how you create your levels. That's how you offset your levels with values. Again, these levels will only be associated with the east wing of the building, so you don't have to turn them on the west wing, okay? You don't want to turn them on this side. You know, if you wanted to turn them on, you just go and click the check mark, and it'll turn levels on this side as well. But we don't want to do that because we're going to have different, we're going to have floors at different elevations on this portion of the building. So uncheck here and uncheck there. All right, so now let's go to your 3D view. And what we want to do is we are going to raise the elevation of these walls on the east wing. And I think Rivet is doing something. I may have confused it. Let's see what happens, how long it takes it to come back to us. Video driver error occurred. Okay, awesome. Yes, always save your changes. And let's open it back up. So I'm gonna have to edit this video. That's all right. All right, here we go. We're back up and running, and you can see all 7 levels have been created and manipulated. Let's go back to the properties project browser and check that south elevation to make sure that our levels are as we left them, and they are. So good stuff there. Now let's go to the 3D view again, and let's go ahead and select all the walls at the east wing. Right. So you want to select this wall, and we do that by holding down the Control key. Okay, and now we want to actually change the elevation of these walls. We want to change the height of these walls. And we want to set that to, let's just say, top of parapet. All right, remember how we talked about it? You can change and manipulate things in this properties menu. So right now, the top constraint, you can change it. Right now it's unconnected because it's just at whatever height they came in by default. But what we want to do is we want to set these walls to a certain height. If you wanted them to be set to level 3, then you can set them to level 3, okay? Or if you wanted to set them to level 4, you can set them to level 4, okay? But for this case, and for this model, we want them to be set to the top of the parapet, all right? So now, when you look at it, as you can see, this is going to be the extent of our walls as it regards the height of the walls within the building envelope, okay? So, with that being said, let's go ahead and check the south elevation. And now we can see that, you know, our top of parapet is accurate. This is where our roof is going to be. Level 5, it's going to be a 5-story building, okay? So that's essentially it as it regards creating views and creating levels in this model, okay? So let's go ahead and jump right into the next portion of this teaching segment.